Hello dear students, we are going to discuss today on the concept of GMP. GMP is good manufacturing practices. Compliances is part of quality system covering the manufacturing, testing of active pharmaceutical ingredients, pharmaceutical products, diagnostics and medical devices. GMP standards are concerned with the production, quality assurance and quality control. GMP compliance enforces global quality guidelines for the pharmaceutical and medical devices. Manufacturer has to follow it. It offers guidance on the adhering to process that will satisfy the regulatory requirements such as effective governance to the achieve and maintain GMP compliance, a scalable approach to GMP compliance through the complete product lifestyle, driving toward a risk-based approach, effective control on quality and safety of pharmaceutical products, ensure suitability of facility and availability of qualified personnel, use of extensive documentation and record for traceability, continuous improvement within quality management system, quality by design, maintaining the highest level of hygiene and quality control and production, helping to bring down the cost of compliance with effective complaint and recall systems. Now we need to discuss exactly what is CGMP. CGMP refers to the good manufacturing practices. GMP regulations are enforced by the Food and Drug Administration. The C is CGMP stand for requiring pharmaceutical companies to use technologies and systems that are up to date in order to prevent contaminations, mix-ups and errors. CGMP assure proper design, monitoring and control of manufacturing processes and facilities. Adherence to the CGMP assure strong quality management system, obtaining appropriate quality of raw material, establishing robust operating procedures, detecting and investigating product quality deviations and maintaining reliable testing laboratories. This formal system of CGMP control at a pharmaceutical company, when adequately put into practices, help to prevent instances of contamination, mix-up, deviations, failures and errors. This assures that the drug product meet their quality standards. The CGMP requirements are flexible in order to allow each manufacturer to decide individually on best implement of necessary control by using sound design, processing and testing procedure. The flexibility in the CGMP regulation allows companies to use modern technologies and innovative approaches to achieve higher qualities through continual improvement. What is the importance of CGMP regulations? GMP guidelines are not prescriptive instruction on how to manufacture products. They are the series of general principles that must be observed during the manufacturing. A consumer usually can't detect quality and safety of the drug products. The CGMP regulations are drug contain minimum requirement to be followed for the method, facilities and control employed in the manufacturing, processing and packing of the drug products. The regulations make sure that the product is safe for use with labeled ingredient and is claimed strength. Facilities that are in compliance with properly maintained and calibrated equipment and along with qualified and trained employee can work in a reliable and reproducible way that eventually help to assure the safety and efficacy of drug products. Decisions regarding the compliance with CGMP regulation are based upon inspection of the facilities and compliance history of a firm. Inspection of FDA is mandatory for approval of manufacturing license to the manufacturer. This inspection of FDA is to ensure compliance of the firm is concerned to necessary facilities, equipments and adequate staff. FDA can initiate regulatory action and issue SCN, explanation call notice, suspension or cancellation against a pharma company if company failed to comply with GMP regulations. CDSCO time to time issue regulatory guidance and notification for industry for compliance of GMP. Now we need to discuss what is actually Schedule M. Schedule M of the Drug and Cosmetic Act 1940 and 1945 by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, describe the requirement of good manufacturing practices and requirement of premises, plant and equipment for the pharmaceutical products. To achieve the objective of GMP, and licensee shall evolve appropriate methodology, system and procedure that is required to be documented and maintained for the inspection and reference. The manufacturing premises shall be used exclusively for the production of drugs and no other manufacturing activities shall be undertaken therein. Schedule M has a different part, divided or distributed in different parts. Now first we will discuss on the Part 1 of Schedule M. It describes the general requirement of GMP for the premises and material of the pharmaceutical products manufacturing, and Part 2 encompasses requirement of plant and equipments. Now we will discuss on Part 1 of GMP for the premises and material. Now first thing is that what is the general requirement for the manufacturing industries or manufacturing premises? Location and surrounding. The factory building for the manufacturing of drugs shall be so situated and shall have measures to avoid risk of contamination from the external environments, including open sewage, drain, public laboratories or other factory which produce disagreeable or obnoxious odor, fumes, excessive soot, dust, smoke, chemicals or biological emissions. Building and premises. Now we will discuss about the what is actually my requirement of building and premises. The building shall be designed, constructed, adapted and maintained to suit the manufacturing operations so as to permit production of drugs under hygienic conditions. They shall also conform to the condition laid down in the Factory Act 1948. The premises used for the manufacturing, processing, warehousing, packaging, labeling and testing purposes shall be: number 1, incompatible with other drug manufacturing operations that may be carried out in the same or adjacent area, adequately provided with the working space to allow orderly and logical placement of equipments, material and movement of the personnel so as to avoid the risk of mix or contamination between the different category of drugs with the raw materials, intermediate and in process material, and possibilities of the contamination and cross contamination by providing suitable mechanism. Number 3, designed and constructed and maintained to prevent entry of insect, pest, worms, vermin and rodents. Interior surface, wall, floor shall be smooth and free from any cracks and permit easy cleaning, painting and disinfection. Number 4th part is that the production and dispensing area shall be air conditioned, well lighted, effectively ventilated with air control facility and may have properly air handling unit to maintain conditions of temperature and humidity as defined for the relevant product and regulatory monitoring for the compliances with required specifications. These conditions shall be appropriate to the category of drug and nature of the operations, suitable to comfort of the personnel working with the protective clothing, product handle and operations undertaken within regulation to the external environments. 5th part is that provided with the drainage system of adequate size and so designed as to prevent backflow and or prevent insect and rodent entering the premises. and the wall and floor manufacturing area shall be free from any crack and open joint to avoid accumulation of dust. These shall be non-shedding, smooth, washable, covered, and shall permit easy and effective cleaning and disinfection. A periodic record of cleaning and painting of the premises shall be maintained. Water system. There shall be validated system for the treatment of water. Water draw from the potable source in accordance with the standard specified by the Bureau of Indian Standard of Local Municipalities so as to produce purified water conform to pharmacopoeial specification. Purified water so produced shall be used for all operation except washing and cleaning where potable water may be used. Water shall be stored in a tank which do not adversely affect quality of water and ensure freedom from microbial growth. The tank shall be cleaned periodically and record maintained. Now, what is the disposal of waste? How to waste disposal in the manufacturing premises? Thus, disposal of sewage and effluent from the premises shall be in conformity with the requirement of Environment Pollution Control Board. All biomedical waste shall be destroyed as per the provisions of Biomedical Waste Management Handling Rule 1996. Additional precautions shall be taken for the storage and disposal of rejected drugs. Provisions shall be made for the proper and safe storage of waste material awaiting disposal. Records shall be maintained for the disposal of waste, and hazardous, toxic substance and flammable material shall be stored in suitably designed and segregated enclosed area in conformity with the central and state legislation. Warehousing area. Warehousing area is designed to allow sufficiently and orderly store of various category of material and product like starting and packaging material, intermediates, bulks, finished products. Product in quarantine, released, rejected, returns or recalled. Machine and equipment, spare parts and change items. Proper racks, bins and platforms shall be provided for the storage of materials. Warehousing areas shall be designed and adapted to ensure good storage conditions. It shall be clean, dry and maintained with the acceptable temperature limits. Where special storage conditions are required, that is temperature and humidity, monitoring and recorded. Storage areas shall have appropriate housekeeping and rodent pest and vermin control procedure, and records shall be maintained, and receiving and dispatch way shall be provided to protect material and product from adverse weather condition. Quarantine stations. Material should be stored in separate areas with clear demarcation with restricted access to authorized persons only. There shall be a separate sampling area provided for the active raw material and excipient in such a way as to prevent contamination and cross contamination and mix up. Now, I would like to discuss with you the important thing of sampling area. Only this is the place where the possibility of contamination is high. Therefore, separate and dedicated facility for the sampling area is necessary to provide. Segregation shall be provided for the storage of rejected, recalled and returned material or products, suitably marked and secure restricted access. Highly hazardous, poisonous and explosive materials such as narcotics, psychotropic drug and substance presenting potential risk of abuse, fire or explosion shall be stored in safe and secure areas. Adequate fire protection measures shall be provided in conformity with the rules of the concerned civic authorities. Printed packaging material shall be stored in a safe, separate and secure areas. Separate dispensing areas should be provided for the beta-lactam, sex hormone and cytotoxic substance. Now we have to understand why there is a need to provide separate area for beta-lactam, sex hormone and cytotoxics. If these drugs will be contamination for the other drugs, it may be harmful to the humans. That is why government has provided provisions to provide separate and dedicated area for the anti-cancer, cytotoxic or sex hormone products. Pressure and suitably measure for dust control to avoid contamination. Sampling and dispensing of sterile material shall be conducted under aseptic conditions conforming to the grade A area. Regular checks shall be made to ensure adequate steps are taken against the spillage, breakage and leakage of the containers. Rodent treatment should be done regularly and at least once a year, and records shall be maintained. Production area, working and in process space shall be adequate and permit orderly and logical positioning of equipment and material and movement of personnel to avoid cross contamination and to minimize risk of omission or wrong application of any manufacturing and control measures. The production area shall be designed to allow the production preferably in uniflow and logical sequence. Now the important thing is that uniflow has to be maintained. So there is the chances of cross contamination will be reduced. In order to avoid the risk of cross contamination, separate, dedicated and cell contaminant facilities shall be made available for the production of sensitive pharmaceutical product like penicillin or biological preparation with live microorganisms. Separate dedicated facilities shall be provided for the manufacture of contamination causing and potent products such as beta-lactam, sex hormone and cytotoxic substances. Pipe work, electrical fittings, ventilation, opening and similar services lines shall be designed and fixed and constructed to avoid creation of races. Services lines shall be preferably be identified by the color and the nature of the supplied and direction of the flow, marked and indicated. Ancillary area, rest and refreshment room shall be separate from the manufacturer area. These areas shall not be lead directly to the manufacturing and storage area. Facilities for the changing, storage of clothes and the washing and toilet purposes shall be easily accessible and adequately for the number of users. Toilets separate for the male and female shall not be directly connected with the production or storage areas. There shall be written instruction for the cleaning and disinfection of such area. Maintenance workshop shall be separate and away from production area. Whenever spares, change part and tools are stored in the production area, these shall be kept in dedicated room or lockers. Tools and spare parts for use in sterile area shall be disinfected before these are carried out inside the production area. Quality control area, quality control laboratories shall be designed appropriately for the operations to carried out in them. It should be independent from the manufacturing area. Sufficient and suitable storage space shall be provided for the test samples, retained samples, reference standard, reagents and records. The design of the laboratory shall take into account the suitability of construction material and the ventilation. Separate air handling unit and other requirements shall be provided for the biologicals and microbiological and radioisotopes testing areas. The laboratory shall be provided with regular supply of water of appropriate quality for the cleaning and testing purpose. Quality control laboratories shall be independent from the production area. Separate areas shall be provided each for the physiochemical, biological, microbiological or radioisotopes analysis. Separate instrument room with adequate areas shall be provided for the sensitive and sophisticated instruments employed for the analysis. Quality control laboratory shall be divided into separate sections, that is for the chemical, microbiology and whenever required biological testing. These shall have adequate area for basic installation and ancillary purposes. The microbiology section shall be arrangements such as airlock, laminar airflow bench, workstation whenever considered necessary provisions of schedule L1 to be comply with the quality control laboratories. Pharmaceutical plant layout in view of GMP. Layout of the plant so designed to suit production, adequate placement of machinery and uniflow for main and material to minimize cross contamination. Proper layout of the pharmaceutical manufacturing facility help in the best possible utilization of main, material, machines. We are discussing about the basic requirement of any plant and machinery. Number one, gowning and change room has to be provided. Receiving and dedusting area, received and material quarantine area, approved material storage area, rejected raw material area, sampling area, weighing and dispensing area, production area, aseptic filling area for the sterile products, in process area, ancillary area, in process quarantine area, packaging and labeling area, untested finished goods area, approved finished products storage area, rejected finished goods area, finished product storage area. The risk of mix up between the raw material, intermediate and in process material and possibilities of contamination and cross contamination can be avoided by the providing adequate design of the premises. Separate main and material flow minimize the risk of cross contamination. Main and material flow should be independent with minimum possibility of changes or crossing over. Two types of layout design are basically followed for minimum possible interaction between the main and material. Both personal and material flow should be optimized to prevent unnecessary activities that could increase the potential for introduction contaminations to exposed products, container enclosure or the surrounding environment. The layout of the equipment should provide for ergonomics that optimize comfort and movement of operators. Circular flow. A central corridor is provided for main flow. Raw material is received from one corner that stepwise move to quarantine, sampling, dispensing, production, packaging and labeling area arranged in circular layout, finally to finished good store and transfer from another end. Now another design is parallel flow. A internal corridor is provided for the main flow. Raw material is received from one side, then stepwise move to quarantine, sampling, dispensing, production, packaging and labeling area placed in a parallel layout in both sides of the internal corridor, finally to finish good store and transfer from the other side. Site master file. It's a complete detail of the manufacturer. It contains all the necessary requirement, facility, staff, every details are available in the site master file. It should be maintained by the manufacturer. If you will call a site master file from the manufacturer, then you may have all the information of the manufacturer from this site master file. The licensee shall prepare a sufficient document in the form of site master file containing the specific and factual good manufacturing practices about the production and control of pharmaceuticals. Manufacturing preparations carried out at the licensed premises. It shall contain the following section with the detail provided. Site master file shall contain the following section with detail provided. Number one, general information. This section contains general information about the manufacturer. Brief information of the firm, pharmaceutical manufacturing activities as permitted by the licensing authority. Other manufacturing activities, if any, carried out on the premises. Type of product license for the manufacturer with flow chart, monitoring procedure and process flow. Number of employees engaged in the production, quality control, storage and distributions. Use of outside scientific, analytical or other technical assistance in relation to manufacture and analysis. Short description of the quality management system of the firm. Product detail registered with the foreign countries, personal, organization chart, qualification, experience and responsibility of key personnel, basic and in-service training and record maintained. Health requirement for the personnel engaged in the production. Personal hygiene requirement including clothing. Next is premises. Plan or description of the manufacturing area draw to scale. Nature of construction and fixture fittings. Brief description of the ventilation system and detail of the critical area and schematic drawing of the system and classification of the room used for the manufacture of the sterile products. A special area for the handling of the highly toxic, hazardous and sensitizing materials. Brief discussion of water system and schematic drawing of systems including sanitations. Description of plant preventive maintenance program for the premises and of the recording system. Another part is equipments. Brief description of major equipments used in the production and quality control laboratory and a list of equipment required. Description of the plant preventive maintenance program for the equipment and of the recording system. Qualification and calibration including the recording system and arrangement for the computerized system validations. Sanitations contains written specification and procedure for the cleaning of manufacturing area and equipments. Documentation arrangement for the preparation, revision and distribution of documents. List of necessary documents for the manufacturing and other documentation related to the product quality. Production. Brief description of the production operations with flow sheets and chart specifying important parameters. Arrangement for the handling of starting material, packaging material, bulk and finished products including sampling, quarantine, release and storage. Arrangement for the handling of rejected material and products. Brief description of general policy for process validations. Another point is quality control. Description of the quality control system and the activities of the quality control department and procedure for the release of the finished products. Non-licensed manufacturer and licensee. Description of the way the which compliance of the GMP by the non-licensee is assessed. Distribution of complaint and product recall. Arrangement and recording system for distribution of the finished products. Arrangement for the handling of complaint and product recall. Another point is self-inspection. Short description of the self-inspection system indicating whether any outside independent and experienced external expert was involved in evaluating the manufacturing's compliance with the GMP in all aspects of the production. Export of drugs. List of product exported to the different countries. Complaint and product recall if any. After completion of general section, general requirement of Schedule M, now we will discuss about the part 2 of Schedule M. It is a requirement for the plant and equipment for the manufacturing different category of products like external preparation. As per the provisions or requirement of Schedule M, external preparation should be minimum area of 30 square meter for basic installation of 10 square meter for ancillary area is recommended. Area for the formulations mean for the external use and internal use shall be separate provided to avoid mix up. Oral liquid preparations, a minimum area of 30 square meter for the basic installation and 10 square meter for the ancillary area is recommended. For the tablet sections, the tablet sections shall be free from dust and floating particles and may be air conditioned. For this purpose, each tablet machine shall be isolated into cubicles and connected to a vacuum dust collector or an exhaust system. For the effective operations, the tablet production department shall be divided into 4 distinct and separate sections as follows. Number 1. Mixing, granulation and drying section. Number 2, tablet compression section. Number 3, packing section. Number 4, coating sections. Whenever required, a minimum area of 60 square meter for the basic installation and 20 square meter for the ancillary area is recommended for the uncoated tablet. The coating section shall be made dust free with suitable exhaust system to remove excessive powder and fumes resulting from the solvent evaporation. It shall be air conditioned and dehumidifiers whenever considered necessary. A minimum additional area of 30 square meter for the coating section for basic installation and 10 square meter for ancillary area is recommended. Separate area for equipment for the mixing, granulation, drying, tablet compression, coating and packing shall be provided for penicillin group or other on the lines indicated above. In case of operations involving dust and floating particles, care shall be exercised to avoid cross contaminations. The manufacture of effervescent and soluble dispersible tablets shall be carried out in air conditioned and dehumidified areas. For the powder sections, a minimum area of 30 square meter is recommended to allow for the basic installations where the actual blending is to be done on the premises. Capsule section, for the manufacture of capsules, separate enclosed areas suitably air conditioned and dehumidified with an airlock arrangement shall be provided. Separate equipment and filling and packaging areas shall be provided in penicillin and non-penicillin section. In case of operation involving floating particle of the fine powder, a suitable exhaust system shall be provided. Manufacturer and filling shall be carried out in air conditioned area. The room shall be dehumidified. A minimum area of 25 square meter for basic installation and 10 square meter for ancillary area, each for penicillin and non-penicillin section is recommended. For surgical dressings, a minimum area of 30 square meter is recommended to allow for the basic installation. In case of medicated dressing are to be manufactured, another room with the minimum area of 30 square meter shall be provided. For the ophthalmic preparation, for the manufacturing of ophthalmic preparation, separate enclosed area with airlock arrangement shall be provided. A minimum area of 25 square meter for basic installation and 10 square meter for ancillary area is recommended. Manufacturer and filling shall be carried out in air conditioned area under aseptic conditions. The room shall be further dehumidified as considered necessary if preparations containing antibiotics are manufactured. Area for formulation mean for the external use and internal use shall be separate provided. To avoid mix up passages and supporteries, a minimum area of 20 square meter is recommended to allow for the basic installation. In the case of passages manufactured by granulation and compression, the requirement as indicated under tablets shall be provided. Inhalers, an area of minimum 20 square meter is recommended for the basic installation. For another category of drug manufacturing is repacking of drugs and pharmaceutical chemicals. An area of minimum 30 square meter is recommended for basic installation. In case of operation involving the floating particle of fine powder, a suitable exhaust system shall be provided. For parenteral preparation, the whole operation of the manufacture of the parenteral preparation, small volume injectable and large volume parenterals in glass and plastic container may be divided into the following separate area or rooms. Number 1, parenteral preparation in glass container. The manufacturing area may be divided into following separate area or rooms. For the water management area, this include water treatment and storage area. Container and closures preparations area, this include washing and drying of ampoules, vials, bottles and closures. Solution preparation area, this include preparations and filtration of the solutions. Another area is filling area. Capping and sealing area, this include filling and sealing of the ampoules and or the filling, capping and sealing of the vials and bottles. Sterilization area, quarantine area, visual inspection area, packaging area shall be provided. A minimum area of 150 square meter for the basic installation and ancillary area of 100 square meter for small volume injectable are recommended. For large volume parenterals, an area of 150 square meter each for the basic installation and for ancillary area is recommended. These areas shall be partitioned into suitable enclosure with airlock arrangements. Area for the formulation mean for the external use and internal use shall be separately provided to avoid mix up. Packaging material for large volume parental shall have a minimum area of 100 square meters. Parental preparations in plastic containers by form, fill and seal technology or blow seal technology. The whole operation of manufacturer of large volume parenterals preparation in plastic containers includes plastic pouches by automatic form, fill, seal machine or by semi-automatic blow molding, filling cum sealing machine. The manufacturing area may be divided into the following separate area or rooms. Number 1, water management area, solution preparation area, container molding cum filling sealing area, sterilization area, quarantine area, visual inspection area and packaging area. A minimum area of 250 square meter for the basic installation of an ancillary area of 150 square meter for large volume parental preparation in plastic container by form, fill, seal technology is recommended. These areas shall be partitioned in suitable enclosure with airlock arrangements. Area for formulation mean for external use and internal use shall be separately provided to avoid mix up. Packaging material for large volume parental shall have a minimum area of 100 square meters. Hope you all enjoyed the information and lectures. Thank you for your attention. Keep studying and goodbye.